If you've been following Momcast for the last couple of years, you're probably used to this. Being in my home, getting the latest news and headlines while my kids are in the background. But now, Momcast is getting an upgrade. If you're new here, welcome to Momcast. Every single week, we bring you the latest headlines along with incredible interviews, all with the same purpose as before, to make sure you are connected to your community, to what's happening in the world, keeping you in the know. So let's get started. Welcome to Momcast. I am your host, Emma Jade. We've got your top stories, including a childcare crisis. There's this federal program that is set to end at the end of this month, and it puts millions of households at risk of losing childcare. I've got all the details for you. We're also talking some new numbers from the CDC. Teen girls are experiencing record levels of depression and anxiety. So what can we do about it as parents? I've got two experts for you. They're going to join me in just a few minutes to talk about these numbers and then give us 3 things that we can do today to improve connections with our children. But first, let's catch you up on the news. Well, congratulations. You just survived the hottest summer our planet has ever experienced. Well, since records began back in 1940, the UN Weather Agency says June, July, and August all broke records for the hottest ever on Earth. And here in Phoenix, we have endured 100 days with 100-degree temperatures this year. September is starting off hot too. Typically, we see about 103 degrees on average, but we are roaring into the 114-degree mark this weekend. Okay, next top story. We're on the cusp of a childcare crisis. Right now, the average parent spends about $10,000 a year on childcare. But a change this month could drive those costs up. Starting September 30th, states will see a sharp decline in federal childcare investment from the government, money given to childcare programs during the pandemic. Yes, that's expiring. Without these funds, about 70,000 programs will have to close across the U.S., leaving more than 3 million children without care. In Arizona alone, about 99,000 kids stand to lose childcare, and close to 1,100 programs will have to shut their doors. And this last story, whether we want to hear it or not, COVID cases are going up. Maybe it's hit your house already this season. You're probably digging out some of your unused at-home tests that we all stashed earlier in the pandemic, but a lot of those tests may have passed their expiration dates. It's printed right there on the box. Don't toss them out yet. The FDA has extended some expiration dates. You can actually check your old kits by visiting the FDA's website. I'll be sure to post a link on my Momcast Instagram page for you too, but FDA.gov will have all those new dates for you. Okay, so as I mentioned at the top of the show, CDC has some new startling numbers that they're reporting. It shows that teen girls are having a hard time right now. I've got 2 experts with more info for you, but as I head over to our interview on the other side of the studio, I wanted to share one of my favorite follows on Instagram. Her name is Amy Anger. She's a child and parenting therapist who has racked up close to 2 million views from this one tip about kids and smartphones. Check it out. I'll meet you on the other side.
I'm a child and family therapist, and this is how my husband and I decide if our own children are ready for a phone. Do they take care of their responsibilities that they already have? Schoolwork, extracurricular activities, family responsibilities. Do they take care of their personal belongings? Do they speak kindly and respectfully most of the time, and especially when they're mad? Are they able to stay in control of how they speak? And finally, how do they already follow the general family rules that we have? I guarantee that if you have conflict with your child in any of those areas, adding a phone only brings more opportunity for more conflict. I'll also add that in our family, we decided 14 was the earliest you could get a phone, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I have no regrets about that.
Again, that was Amy Anger. You can actually find her on Instagram. The Real Parent is her name on there. I actually threw the question out to the rest of you on the Momcast Instagram page. The majority of you agree with Amy. 600 of you voted that 13 and 14 is when you give your child a smartphone. As we mentioned at the top of the show, teen girls are going through a really tough time right now. There are record-breaking numbers to back that statement up. The CDC reports 30% of teen girls in the U.S. have seriously considered suicide. That is a number up by 60% over the last decade. And it's heartbreaking. What do we do about it? How do we fix this in our homes? First up, I talked to Emma Jade. She is a licensed clinical social worker who specializes in kids and teens. Here's my conversation with her. Did this report surprise you?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So as a mental health professional, the number wasn't surprising because I see it in my office every day.
Right.
But as a mom, it was like, this isn't just a number, right? This is my kid. This could be my kid's friend. And so I was kind of shocked at how high the number was.
Yes.
So that's the part that was surprising for me.
What are the factors behind the number being so high? I mean, when I was reading this report, it was the highest that it's been in a decade.
Our kids are kind of living in a pressure cooker right now,
Yeah.
right? We don't want to keep talking about the last few years, but the last few years, the impact it had on us as a society has trickled down to our kids. When we're looking at our girls, they kind of are in this double bind because not only are they also experiencing all of this, the societal pressures, they're also more likely to be victims of gender-based violence. They're also more likely to be discriminated against because of their gender. And the way symptoms show up in them don't always look the same, and so we tend to miss it. And so they're kind of dealing with this internally before we even realize what's happening.
Another really frightening part of the report was the suicide rate and how much that has grown.
Our kids aren't feeling supported, right? Like they don't have people to reach out to. They don't know where to reach out to. You know, when we go back a few years with the school closures, for a lot of kids, that's the only place they were getting mental health services.
Absolutely.
Right? So now you send them home and they're back in environments that aren't always supportive. Most parents are very supportive, but a lot of these kids, they're just holding this by themselves.
What should I be looking for?
Any major behavioral changes, and even, I wouldn't even just say major, even minor behavioral changes, right? If they're not as interested in activities they used to be really passionate about,
Yes.
If you notice a shift in friendships, if you notice they're not, you know, if it's a kid who's normally bubbly when they come home from school and has lots to say to you and they're kind of being withdrawn, that's usually a sign that there's something deeper going on.
What happens if I haven't had that kind of communication with my child? So how do I start it without feeling awkward or clunky?
It's more about letting them know, I'm here to listen. I may not have the right answer, I may not know exactly how to do it, but the door is open, and when you're ready, I'll follow your lead.
What are some of those questions? Because a lot of times parents, being the one who needs to listen, doesn't come naturally to us. We feel like we're the ones that need to fill the silence or fill the space or sometimes even lecture.
Yeah.
But listening, what are the tools that I need to work that into my parenting repertoire?
Yeah. Just telling them, what do you need? I'm here. And no judgment, judgment free. So if you're not big on mental health or big on going to therapy, but your kid is saying, I want to go to therapy, it's like, great, let's sit down together and figure out who's the best therapist for you.
Right.
It's saving your judgment and your criticism and just leaving that space open for them.
What is your best advice for parents who are just, honestly, it all feels like we're trying to figure it out? And this latest report kind of is a bit of a gut punch.
Yes. Just know that you're gonna mess up. And when we mess up, we talk about that. Hey, I messed up today. I missed this sign. I should have listened more. And when your kids hear that, they're more willing to come talk to you because they realize, like, oh, you have faults too. You're not perfect. This is something we can work on together.
Why are we seeing these numbers so high right now? What can you attribute it to?
COVID had a big part of this, even though like I said, we're done talking about COVID. We don't want to keep hearing about it.
Yeah.
But that had a huge impact on services that our kids got, being able to go to these activities, and then the fallout from COVID. You know, a lot of kids are hearing, am I going to be able to pay my mortgage this month? You know, lots of families have lost their jobs, and so they're taking all of that in and trying to make sense of it. We have the impact of social media, and I don't think all social media is bad, but our kids are spending more time and getting more of their information from there versus having those conversations with trusted adults.
When you talk to these girls especially, what are some of the biggest things that you see in almost all of them? What's kind of like the same thing that just keeps popping up?
It's the loss of connection. Right? Not feeling connected to their community, not feeling connected to their friends and their family. You know, I do girls groups, and so I get a group of girls together and they're all saying the same thing, I just want to belong somewhere. And so a lot of what we're seeing is behaviors to try to create belonging that's actually distancing them from who they truly are.
Connection. That's what Erica kept saying over and over in our conversation. The desperate need for connection. So I went to social media. I found one of my favorite people who shouts connection from the rooftops. Her name is Brooke Romney. I'm sure you've heard of her. She's an author and a mom who, and I'm quoting here, believes connection is at the heart of relationships. I chatted with her over Zoom. She actually used to live over in the East Valley for a couple of years. And we talked about finding ways that we can make successful connections within our homes and communities.
If you feel like connection is off with your teenager, the first thing that I would do is I would start noticing the good and vocalizing it. A lot of times I think teenagers think that it's us versus them during those years. And the quickest way for them to help them realize that you're on their side, you're on their team, is to start noticing good things and talk about them. So you can do this in a variety of ways. If a teen really is doing a great job and you just find that you are in a place where you're constantly correcting or wanting them to be better, it's pretty easy, right? You say, oh, you did such an amazing job being at school this week. Like, I can tell you're working super hard. I'm so proud of you. You can say things like, you were so kind to your little brother. He looks up to you so much. This is so fun to watch you guys build a relationship. He's so lucky to have you. So if you have a great kid and you just find that you're not noticing enough things and letting them know that you're noticing, that's one way. If you have a kid who's struggling, it can be a little bit harder. If you have a relationship where you're butting up against each other, sometimes you have to start with very, very small things like, wow, you look so darling today. Like, you have such a great sense of style. Maybe they're not being very nice to you. Maybe you don't have a great relationship, but you can notice something that's outside of the way they're acting or their relationship. But then also not just saying you look cute, but I admire your sense of style. You're so brave with what you wear. This is so fun to, watch you discover your personal style. Other things, sometimes you have to like lower your expectations a little. So instead of, you're killing it at school, you're like, hey, thanks so much for getting up every morning. Even at the end of the school year, it's so cool that you're able to be on time for school every day. Thanks for doing that. That takes a lot of stress off my plate. Something like that, where you're like, well, I really want you to be getting good grades and fully engaging in class, but I'm going to start small. Another way you can do this is, I love it when kids hear their parents talking about great things about them without it being directly to them. So maybe you're talking on the phone to your mom and you're saying something like, oh, I don't know, it's just been really fun to see, my oldest learn how to make friends this year. He's so social. It's so cool to watch this. And maybe inside you're like, I'm so tired of you being with your friends all the time. This is so hard and it's hurting a relationship. Instead, he hears you say, I really admire that. It wasn't as easy for me to make friends when I was in high school. It's so cool to see these amazing gifts that he has. So those are 3 ways that you can notice the good and vocalize it. So your child starts to see, wow, my mom's on my team, or my dad really thinks I'm awesome. That changes the way they're going to start relating to you. If you think about it from an adult perspective, you want to open up, you want to connect, you want to be with people that think you're pretty great. And it's so much easier for you to do that. If you have someone in your life, let's say it's a boss or a coworker that doesn't think you're awesome, you're pretty much not going to ever turn to them to open up or share something or even ask them to do something with you, right? So anything you can do to let them know that you're on their side is something that I would highly suggest. We talk a lot about the problems, and those are very legitimate. But one of the things that I like to think about is that there are some solutions to these problems that can be done in our homes. Kids who aren't feeling connected really struggle in every way. So whatever you can do to bring connection to their lives, whether that's like we talked about, noticing and vocalizing the good, whether that's setting some boundaries for online time for your entire family, not just for them, but for parents too, putting our phones down at dinner. I want to come watch you do this thing, even if they're really into gaming, like, show me this game. I'm super interested. Let me sit down and watch this with you. If they love makeup tutorials on YouTube, hey, let's practice these. Come do this makeup with me. Kids need connection. And it's not just the kids' lives that are struggling with this. Parents are online a lot too, and they're looking down. And sometimes the kids aren't connecting with their friends because of this, but they're also going home and then there's still no one to connect with. Yeah. So getting outside, taking a walk. One of my favorite things to do is letting my kids know that I genuinely like being with them. And one of the ways you can do this is by inviting them into your life. I'm running to Costco. Come with me and I will buy whatever you want for dinner this week. Come. I love being with you. it's so much more fun for me to have somebody like in the car with me at Costco, come with me, show me what you like. I know I don't get the food you like. Come and show me what you like. Hey, I want to run and go grab a soda. Do you want to come with me? Even little things like, hey, this is going on in my life at work. I'm struggling with this coworker. What do you think I should do? Let them know that who they are is valuable to you. Their opinions are valuable. Sometimes they're not having those relationships at school, but can you imagine how hard it is if you go to school, no one likes you, no one's talking to you, you get things online that are hurtful, and you come home and then everyone ignores you? Like, double, like that hurts a lot. So when kids come home, let them know that even if no one else wants them, they're wanted at home. You think they're interesting, you think they're great, you want to be a part of their lives. That kind of confidence that they can get by just knowing that one person thinks they're great can really help them in the other areas of their life too.
Feel like I especially come into contact with a lot of parents who feel overwhelmed and honestly a little hopeless because especially in news, we come out with these new numbers about how many of these kids are struggling post-pandemic.
So one of my most recited parenting mantras is that it is never too late. I don't care if your kid is 8, 18, 48. Every child wants a relationship with their parents. So it is never too late. And the second one is humility goes so far with our teenagers. You come to your kid who is 16 and you say, hey, bud, I am feeling horrible because I have done things wrong. And I wish I knew better, but I didn't. And right now I feel like our relationship is not what I want it to be. What can I do? I want to love you. I want to support you. I want to connect with you. Tell me, how could I do that? How could I be better? Where can I start? And then you ask them to have grace with you and to be patient and to call you out when things are going poorly. You start making time for each other. You say, okay, like, I know you want to hang out with your friends on the weekend, but can Thursday nights, can we go get Chick-fil-A, just me and you? I want to have a relationship with you. And I think you'll find that if you have the attitude that it's never too late, that your kid is actually really great and that you want to be in their lives, even if they're struggling right now. And then if you come to them with humility and let them know honestly that you want a relationship with them, I think a huge percentage of kids are just waiting for their parents to be in their lives in a way that works for them and a way that works for their parents. It might not look exactly like you hoped. It might not look like the perfect family photo or your friend's relationship with her daughter, but you're going to start making progress, and every small step matters. I think sometimes we think, oh, what we're doing, it doesn't make a difference. But if you talk to parents who have kids who are out of the house or who even are parents of their own, those little things made a huge difference. And so don't negate what you think is not going right or what you think doesn't matter. It matters. You just might not be able to see it right now.
What if I get a no? What if I get like a no or I'm not interested or a rude comment or something? What do I do?
I think you could say something like, I understand that maybe things aren't going to change overnight, but I want you to know that I am here whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm willing. I want to figure out how we can make this work for the two of us. And then I would continue just trying, even if it's a little bit annoying. Like I said, hey, I'm running to get a soda. Do you want to come? Making sure you're there to support them, even in small things. They're going to go play a rec soccer game and you show up, whether they're excited about you or not. You see one of the things that they've been drawing and you tell them like, that's phenomenal. Like, I didn't even know you'd become so talented at art. Whatever you can do, whatever little thing, don't give up. Our kids are worth the effort. They're worth the hard. They're worth being rejected. And they need us. They need us more than anything right now.
What are some goals or maybe things that I can do as a parent to really get that connection going, to feel more confident in the connection that I have with my child?
I'll give you 3 things that I think you could do every day. Whatever it is, compliment them, whatever you can see. Sometimes it's very, very small, like, thanks for taking your plate to the sink. Even though in my head, I'm like, we put our plates in the dishwasher. This is very annoying. Thank you for taking your plate to the sink, right? So compliment them every day. Physically interact with them every day, whether that's a hug, a pat on the knee, a back scratch, fixing their hair, whatever that is, physically interact with them every day. And then the third thing that I would say is connect with them every day. So in a different way, whether you're telling them something about your day, something you read online. I love the 52 Modern Manners books for this. You bring up a manner and you discuss it at home. Whether you say, hey, what's your schedule this week? I want to make sure I'm at your lacrosse game. Whatever that is, interact with them every day. So compliment, touch, and connect every day.
Compliment, touch, and connect every day. And she mentioned her 52 Manners book. This is actually my copy. I have this in my home. You can get it on Amazon, or it's available at Costco here in Arizona. They are brilliant. And they help you and your child discuss topics and ways to go about certain situations together. She's also making one for kids, and that's coming out in the next couple of months. I'll keep you posted. A massive thanks to Brooke and to Erica for helping us with ways to fight against these recent numbers from the CDC and to really find a way to connect with our kids. And thank you for being part of our first official Momcast episode. I can't wait to see you next week. But in the meantime, the info and the growth doesn't stop here. Be sure to follow me on social media at Emma Jade TV, or just search Momcast. You'll see me on there. During the week, we're going to post questions and topics that we will discuss right here on Momcast. Thanks everyone for watching. We will see you next week.